Come, let us reason.
To you, precious Yahweh, that you on us back into the bed once again, Yahweh. As we continue, Yahweh, this great celebration, Yahweh, of your Sukkah, the great tabernacle, Yahweh, as we rejoice, Yahweh, lifting up your mighty name, Yahweh. Well, we have heard, Yahweh, the that you have told us to Hezekiah, remember, Abba Yahweh, that we would do, Abba Yahweh. Praising our precious King, Abba Yahweh. Lord, we will continue to do in the dancing and the singing, Abba Yahweh, the voices of your nation, Abba Yahweh. The dancing and the moving of our feet, Abba Yahweh. Oh, giving honor to our great King. They have been so great and wonderful and showed many wonderful things to us, Abba Yahweh. Just for us to be alive another day, Abba Yahweh, we told you, Abba Yahweh. No other place, Abba Yahweh, that I'd rather be, Abba Yahweh. Seeing that the world is going about doing their own thing. No thought of you on their mind, Abba Yahweh, but the things of the lust of the flesh, Abba Yahweh. But precious Abba Yahweh, told you, Abba Yahweh, but just another chance to stand before you, Abba Yahweh. To tell you for breath, to give you thanks, and another celebration that you gave me to see, Abba Yahweh. Have your way in the midst of this house, Abba Yahweh. Let your nation give honor to your name, Abba Yahweh. Because we know without you, Abba Yahweh, we cannot make it, Abba Yahweh. But Abba Yahweh, we know for a fact, Abba Yahweh, that we have one on our side that will never fail us, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let us stand to our feet, nation. Blow the trumpet in the mountain of Yahweh, YHWH, Abba Yahweh, within the Hashemayim, Kadosh is your mighty Hashem. Your Malkut to come, your will be done. In earth, Abba Yahweh, and in the Hashemayim. Forgive us this day our daily lesson. Forgive us our debt, Abba Yahweh, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, Abba Yahweh. For yours is the Malkut, the power, and the honor, Abba Yahweh, forever, Abba Yahweh. So be it, Abba Yahweh. May it be fulfilled in the present mighty name of YHWH HaMashiach. As you feed us again, Abba Yahweh, the lesson, the bread of life, of understanding coming from your bosom, to feed your nation, Abba Yahweh, to stand, Abba Yahweh, and press on to the high calling and the mark of YHWH HaMashiach, I pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Once again to enter into his presence with praise and todah unto his name. So let us Shah Yahweh this time, this feast of Sukkah.
Voice greet you all in Yahshua's mighty name this Shabbat. As we shall speak the word from the bosom of our Imam. We have been nurtured by her milk, statutes, the commandments, the mitzvah, Ruchma of Almighty Yah. So we greet you all in Yahshua's mighty name. I want to teach somewhat. I want to do it in a fashion that is quicker than yesterday, because I want us to fellowship, enjoy the riches of His great blessings. It is one thing I've learned in life. I am a student, and I use this terminology quite often.
Yes.
I am a student of etymology. There are those that will say often is the right way, but it's not. It's the wrong way to enunciate. It is often. There are those that we think we understand words. That is the vital conquest of this book. Because if every whole, all the fullness of what he says, every gabari, every promise of Yah, they are dahor, they're pure. You can't taint them. I don't care what I try to do, I cannot taint what Yah says. I will become tainted. But you cannot taint what he says. And I learned this as a student as I am today. I'm less of a student today than I was over 40 years ago. I learned one thing: to examine the details of words, the origins. We did not have the sophistication of things that I utilize today, because I will have to get in my car, go to the library, and stay there for hours. And when the internet came out, I was one of the first ones to have that. And then most of the sites like Harvard University or Princeton Library or the Library of Congress, you still have to pay to utilize that. But what they have is so valuable. You can never understand anything unless you understand the preciseness of a word. It has taught us not to listen attentively. We don't listen carefully, because we know what they're saying because of our own broken system of interpretation. You must always understand the etymology, the origin, the concept. There are words that were introduced in our societal construct. How many words this year? There are at least 10, 20,000 words a year that do not even facilitate you in any way in your environment. Yes. And so you have to do the investigation of words. There are those that get upset when I say damn, and they don't even know the word origins, where it originated, because we're so proper and we're ignorant. It's beyond ignorant because we're dumb. There's a word that all of you adults know. It begins with a constant. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F. It begins, and you all know what I'm talking about, you adults. The language that you will call slang. But there is a cow. This word, because I'm a student, I'm going to teach. And the origin of this word comes from, there is a cow that is bred in Switzerland. It is a Switzerland cow. It is a Swedish word. It comes from the name of that cow. And the name of the cow is Fucha. And so we're so ignorant, we think we're smart. You can play this book by emotions. You cannot. We're caught up in our emotional drive, and it's wrong. Yes. People will get more perturbed with me using the word damn than they will calling you a guy. You can say damn me, but don't call me a fool. That I'm not. Don't call me a jackass, I'm a fool. And that's what the word guy is. It's amazing that no one will search that dictionary to see. Guy fought this fool, tried to overthrow the British Parliament in 1898, and they make an effigy every June 15th of this fool. It's a mockery.
Yes.
That's why I will never use that N-word against anyone. Those are words I eradicate from my vocabulary. I will never call them out that. I will never do that. I will never speak that. So I want you all to sit still today and quit being childish, because I'm not here to appease any of you all.
No.
One says, interpreting what he is saying. What I say is simple and plain. I want to begin here. I want to remind us here. We know what this is about. The second, what we call the Passover. It is a legitimate day that Yah ordained, or is this an occasion because of the filthiness of sin among a nation of people that did not prepare themselves, that he would show us a replieval? Which one is it? Is it ordained in the annals, the chronicles of Torah, of time, that there is an animal we call the second Passover, or it's the kindness, the hasid of Yah, that he shows a people not one chance, a second chance, third chance, and we're still wicked.
Yes.
We're still ignorant. We're still going to do our thing. I don't care what kind of kindness he shows us. And so if it's a second one, we're going to do the same thing. Let me go back. I just want to interject a few things back to the mid-bar numbers. When I read this, I want to read a lot of parts. The mid-bar numbers, chapter 9, verse 5. Moshe was in the wilderness there. And the Torah says in the latter part that I began with, or closing with, he did all, or according to all Yah commanded Moshe. Yeah. You have no verbiage slippage in that.
Right.
He did everything according to what Yah said. He instructed him by command. It's a demand that Yah gave him. Either he did it all, or he did not do according to Yah's will. And if he had not done according to Yah's will, he would have killed him. He would have destroyed him. And he's able to raise up a Nobi, a messenger. Moshe was that first Passover. YHWH is that second one. And we don't give a knicker's worth of rat's dung about him.
Yeah.
We want to facilitate our ignorance. And we will stand in the ignorance of our own stupidity. And we will not repent. Because we know it all. And the student of words, I promise you that. I will not give you anything false. So he had to comply with Yah.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, just listen, and we'll get you turning in a minute. Here in Genesis 6:22, where it says, thus did Noach, according to all that Yah commanded him, so did he. He assad, he performed, he fashioned the boat like he did. You see the elements of those words of that syntax.
Yes.
All according to Yah command, or according to all Yah commanded. He performed it. Are we in any different position? If we do all Yah command us, we must love him with all. Then we must love our re'ach, those that help us. A re'ach is one that help you maneuver through the pasture and through. Zakim brought out to us, they were in the mitzvah last night. Place of wilderness. Untrained. Trained. They didn't know which direction to take because of the sins. They were wicked. And we don't know what direction to take. We listen to everyone. When a man doesn't convince me of my sins, my corruption, he has nothing to say to me. I'm just being honest. I'm not enthusiastic about any preacher that doesn't reveal the plights of my own evil and wickedness. If you talk about Hebrew Israelites, I'm not affected by that. I can be a dirty dog and be a Hebrew Israelite according to the concept of that thesis. It is not a doctrine. It is not a writ of Yah. That's just a fact. He did all. There's two witnesses there. So let me establish every word here. in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. All right? It talks about here in Shemot, just listen, the last chapter of the book of Shemot, of Exodus. That is the last chapter, isn't it? That is the last chapter. And we understand that this chapter, 40 chapters deal, and the word 40, or the numerics of the number 40 in our father's language, it meant trials, testing, conflicts, affliction. He cut it short there at chapter 40. Because there was something that was coming after chapter 40 was vital to us. Hallelujah. It says, thus did Moshe according to all that Yahweh commanded him. Must we have a supposition to say that I'll keep the second one and not the first one? Forget about the second one. I don't need to travel to Yerushalayim. I will keep according to the statutes, the commandments, the wisdom, the instruction of Yah. Moshe did all that Yah commanded him. Did he not do that? Hallelujah. I want to inject this before I continue. Now the whole issue right now of what we are confronted with is all that Yah commands. Oh, but are we people that do all that Yah commands? We're evil. I'm the principal one. I'm first of the line. Anytime you think you know evil than me, you're evil. Because there's a self-promotion. That's aggrandizing arrogance. I'm the worst of worst. I will never promote myself as someone that is pristine and clean. I do one thing, as we were taught last night, the blessings of honor to Yah. I bless Yah for the Dharma of YHWH. I bless him for that true second. The true second Passover. He passed over from life to death, and he returned to life. So I bless Yah for that. I'm worthy of no accolades or praises. I'm no different than a dirty man on the street who will call him. I'm just as dirty. My breath stinks. My flesh gets dirty. My flesh gets wicked. I'm just as wicked. But there's one thing I will never give my heart over to. I won't practice it. Never! Will not practice those evil things. I will not function in any capacity of those evil things. I want to deal with just one moment when I said 40. It means Massa. It's a word in the language of our forefathers of trials and agonies. And there is, granted, would say a testing or tests. There's a testing. There's a testing that is called Bochan. Can I show an easy example of testing, nation? We test every day with each other. Yes. That I love you. I want to be around you. That makes you upset. Whether you don't like me. That's the truth. Yeah. Why? I want to read this. You can begin to turn quickly. B'mitzvah. Numbers chapter 14 and verse 33. As our Zochim YisraYah'ale brought out to us last night concerning this time that we're in. This is what Yah says. And your babe, your children, they shall ra'ah. They shall wander. And the word ra'ah is, it implies simply one thing. They shall graze like a flock of beasts. He brought that out to us with such intuition that they went from here to there and had to go back to that spot to graze because there was nothing there. That's where we are. We always move on a spiritual journey and we go right back to our dirty flesh. It stinks. That's the way we are. We learn truth. It offends us. It affects us because it is effective. And then we go back to the love and the pleasure of one of the most violent things against Yah. It is to the will of a corrupt heart. We're all guilty of that. That doesn't mean you practice that. It becomes innate with you, a part of you, and you do it without any resistance. You fight with every ounce of the name of Yahshua, and you can't use it up. You understand, nation? He said, and your children shall wander in the Bimidbar 40 years. Why? And they're going to wander because they're going to bear their own Horem, their own Zinutha, their own infidelity. We don't have fidelity with Yah because we function in the form of idolatry. You will be surprised with so many things that have come out of idolatry that many are associating with Yah, especially like the equinox and all of that.
Yes.
That did not come out of Yah. No. It's not even in the book. I will give you all information to prove that. I am a student of life. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He said, they shall bear your zunuth, your own Horem, your own idolatry, your infidelity, until your caucuses. Now notice the word caucus. Until your nefesh. Notice that word. I want you to keep that one word in mind. All right? Caucuses. He said, unless your caucuses be domain, unless it be wasted, unless he exact you, every ounce of you, and finish you wholly. There's going to be one part of you left that won't beg to fight against him. Sure. And Yah says, you're going to wander there in the Bimidbar. And this is why the Zakim brought out that this is the pattern of things. What a wonderful thing to sleep in that kind of position, to know that there is nothing that can satisfy you but one purpose. You do all according to Yah commands you. You can be facetious all you want to. We must do what Yah commands us. He says, after the number of the days in which you search the land, even 40 days, 40 days will not make us constitute ourselves with the promises of Yah. We don't rely upon the dabarim. That's what the word dabarim means. That D-A-B-R-I-M, dabarim. It means the promises of his covenants. It's not just a word, nation. His whole self stands on that. Yes. And not many men are going to tell you these kinds of things. You don't know. Jakes is not going to tell you that. These Hebrew Israelites are not going to tell you that. They're going to keep you going around in the circuit of the same thing. Same thing. Same thing. He said for each day, for a year. Why are you going to put us there 40 years, y'all? The answer is after that comma. Shall you bear your ovim, your evilness, your lust, your sin, your corruption, your sadistic evil ways. He said that's why. 40 years, my mind. 40 years to bear all of that sin. It took 40 years. That's what it says. I did not incorporate anything in this. He said, you shall bear your iniquity even 40 years. That's another profound statement that stands alone after this comma. He said, and you shall know my you shall know my breach. You will know how you've opposed me. You will know how you have alienated me. They didn't learn one damn thing like we don't. You will know my breach, how you've done me wrong, and like a dog gave you bread and water and the foods of the heavens, and you don't give a damn. You shut your mind. That's what the word damn is. You shut your mind off. You damn off your thoughts to Yah. You cover yourself with you, and you let nothing that Yah says penetrate our minds. That's what it means, nation. Yes. I don't care your grandmama and mom, they were ignorant. Boy, don't say that word in my house. She was ignorant. God says, you shall know my breach. You shall know how you have opposed me. You shall know your enmity against me, how you hate me. So, the first is, you know you hate him if you got to wait to what he called a second. And then you fit the category of the one that kept that. You're going to cover all that, don't worry, all right? He says, you shall know the breach, he say, of the promise, In essence, he was saying, you will know, as he brought out the promises regarding him, you will know what you have done, how you have strayed and gone away and done your own wicked thing. I'm going to leave you there 40 years. I'm going to leave you to you. And you're going to do your idolatry, your sin, you're going to lust, you're going to commit every kind of vile, reprehensible action therein. That's what that was. Right? Was that what it was? Sure it was. Let me pull out the old script. First book I ever preached out of. I've had this book over 40 years. Still got it. There's Bereshit. There's Shemoth. There is Bimidbar, right? After that. After Exodus. There's Leviticus and Numbers, right? Yeah. So what I read in Numbers, Yehudah comes before that, doesn't it? Leviticus. It's not that they didn't know. They knew. Yes. They knew the time of the season. I'm going to go through this briefly. Give you about 10 minutes to go through it. I just want you to listen. I will begin here in the book of Yehudah. I'm going to give you my supposition. I didn't write verses down. I just wrote down what this whole chapter was about. Did you go through them? Sure. I know what I'm saying. The first chapter, Leviticus 1, it deals with the offerings that are due unto Almighty Yah. That's what they deal with. And then the second chapter deals with the meat offering of flour and the offering of the first fruit. It deals with nothing but that, yes. Regardless to whom it is. And then chapter 3 deals with the shalom offering of your herd, of your great expanse, how Yah has blessed you. That's what it deals with, nothing else but that now. Yes. It doesn't deal with nothing else. And Leviticus 4 deals with the sin offering. Not just any sin offering, but the sin offering of us that are ignorant for the Kohen, and it deals with the whole congregation, the rulers. It leaves out no one. You can research these things like me. Yes. That's what it deals with. Leave Leviticus Year 5. It deals with the concern, the various trespasses we commit against Yah. The sin, the willingness to sin. That's what it deals with. Chapter 6. It deals with the trespassing against our neighbor and also the offering that we must present, the meat offering. It deals with me, how I deals with him, my neighbor, and it deals with what I must do to get it right. Chapter 7 deals with the sin offering. It deals with the shalom offering and the wave and the heave offering. That's what it deals with. That's what it deals with. Chapter 8, Yah gives them the statutes, the commands, the instructions, how we set apart that the Kohen and the Haron, that they may be clean. That they may be set apart for the service of Yah, that they may be consecrated unto nothing but Yah. Yes. Where Yehudah 9 deals with the first offering, the whole chapter, of a Haron. Not only for the Kohen himself above all, but for the mass of the people. All this fulfilled in Joshua. Yes. Now there is a catchy thing here in Leviticus 10. It deals with Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, that they offer an offering that was wrong, were wicked. They should have. You killed them. Let me read that. Yeah. It says in Leviticus, just listen. Leviticus 10:2, and there went out afar from Yah, and he devoured them, and they died before Yah. No, I don't use no search the internet for some form of pattern. I search the book. Yeah. I don't need no input when it comes to this. And he killed them. And our offerings are evil. They're not according to Yah's will. He killed them both. That's what he did. He's a Kohen. He got an ordination, and that's the truth. And they both died before him. And then not only that, but Yah says to Haran, Try me. I will kill you too. Don't shed one damn tear. Don't cry. Don't even mention those dogs to me. That's a fact. 10 is the number of the 10 tribes, isn't it? 10 tribes. Look at Leviticus, just Leviticus 12. It deals with the purification of a woman after childbirth. It deals with our purification of the birth of that living being of truth in us, Yeshua. That's the birth of a child as he brings forth the living unction of Torah. Chapter 13, it shows us again, he deals with nothing. He gives us statutes and laws, what we must do, how a Kohen, and how to judge those concerning leprosy. You got to know what to look for. You got to know how to examine. We don't see our leprosy. We don't know what to look for. 14, when the leper is cleansed, he deals with nothing but what constitutes his cleanliness, her cleanliness. And that he pronounced, these are the statutes of that. And didn't you pronounce that that one is clean? Whom Yeshua has made clean, he has made us clean from all of our leprosy and sin. Leviticus 15, he speaks of the great day of atonement for the nation. He speaks, he gives us his constitution, how he's going to cleanse us and wash us from our degenerate and violent evil ways. I'm precise in what I'm saying. Hallelujah. That's all that he deals with that. And then chapter chapter 16, he deals with one important thing. How the Kohan, or the high Kohan, or the one that is Gadol, Kohan Gadol, he is the chief. How he must enter into the set apart place. How he must come into the tabernacle of Yah. And the same thing with us. There's a way we come in, that's the way you dress, and that's the way you carry yourself as well. Chapter 17, he deals with all, not some, but all the offerings that are to be offered at the tabernacle. The way, how they should be offered, what he commands, he deals with all of that.
Yes.
He deals with all of that. That's Leviticus, right?
Yes.
Numbers comes before Leviticus, or it comes after. Don't be afraid, it comes afterward, doesn't it? Okay, I'm showing us something. It's not that they didn't know. And then in chapter 18, he deals with the unlawfulness of marriages. You know that what is unclean? You don't marry them. The Kohen were marrying those that they know they weren't right. They had not set themselves apart. He deals with that. And then in 19, he deals with the repetition of the laws. He kind of integrate all of them into what we must do in the preparation of ourselves. In Leviticus 20, he deals with that violent thing we call religion, mulach. How we offer our children to the damn internet and everything. And that's what mulach is, mulcham. Whether you bow or not. They're so addicted to cell phones and internet, their minds are fried. True. One writes me the other day and sent an offering. How that the cell phone, the person that had dealt with for 25 years, I don't ever put them to my ear, I talk like that. Had a tumor on their brain. You think the enemy gives us anything to bless us? We are some crazy people. We are crazy as they come. Yah gives us cow meat. The enemy gives you a cell phone. Yah gives us precious cane. The enemy gives you refined sugar. Yah gives us agave. The enemy gives you corn syrup. They don't let nothing waste. Your might as well not me. We're going to get to the second place after. And then Leviticus 21, he deals with how the Kohen, how you must mourn, what things you must mourn, and how you deal with those that are mourning. All of this here Hallelujah. And then in Leviticus 22, he deals with the uncleanness of the Kohen. Their uncleanness, and they must abstain from the unclean things. You cannot touch the unclean things, and you all know what Leviticus 23 is. He deals with nothing but the moedim, the order. Was he wrong in any of those applications? Not one. Neither is he wrong in the time and the season that is appointed according to his pleasure and his will. He wasn't at all. Not at all. He dealt with it correctly. Why is there what we call enmity? I don't call it. I dealt with the man, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago about this. These are new fries that try to challenge me. I've dealt with all of this, and with my limited resources, I was able to turn those pages and find. I had the internet back then too. But I had the internet, there were only 2 million people that had it, and it was a landline, and I knew how to operate that thing. Stop me from going to the library. I could do it online. It was landline, so you didn't have the operation of your telephone. And I would wait 9 o'clock or 10. Plug that thing in, and I would sit there for hours researching things, looking at things. I don't boast in that. I'm just telling you, nation, I'm not unprepared for the assault of these evil people. I'm not. I don't care who it is. They can get their mommy, they can dig their mommy up out of the grave, and they're happy. It will not affect me at all. Now let us go back. I want to begin here. In Numbers, Mitzvah 9:6. Is that all right? I want to begin there. There are words in this writing in verse 6 that no one will pay attention to. He says this, and there were certain Ananiah, there were certain men that were mourning and in lamentation. That's what the word means. There were certain men, who had tummy. They had defiled by the dead bodies, or the nefesh of a man. You're commanded to leave here. I don't care if it's your mama or your dad, if they die, don't touch them. It's in the book. And because of their mourning, they defy Yah like we do. Some of the wickedest people in the world die. You go past by them and out of them. It's a damn dead body. You touch them. I will deal with all of that, all right? Don't worry. There were certain men, not all YisraYah'ale, that were just certain men. There were those that they were tummy, and they could not keep the Pesach. They knew they could not. And these that kept the second, they're wicked, they're evil, they're unclean, and they're vile. Because the second base Passover was for a certain kind. It was not for the true nation of YisraYah'ale. It was for a certain kind. They were vile, they were clean, they were wicked, and they were lazy as they come because they didn't prepare. So you that kept the second Passover, you did it well because you're evil and you're wicked. Hallelujah. Can I prove it by the book?
Yes.
I will. There were certain men. Did not say all of YisraYah'ale. There were certain men. He gave us only two situations where they could not keep the first. He says they could not keep the Passover on that day, and they came before Aaron on that day. You see how they went to the messenger of Yah? This is an arrogant juvenile generation. Let me deal with a certain man. We'll show you this type. This type is among us. Let's hold that in Midbar. I'm going back there. We're going to teach from that. But let's look at Yehuda. Let's look at Jude. These men and those that come in among you and us, they're unclean. I watched the minis, my son. We had 100 Did I ever show you the picture of the people living? And every one of them were adults. She was born here. That child right there, she was born here. They were born here. They were babies that look, and they all are adults.
Yes.
135, and son, we had nothing. Every dime, no one, I don't care, one gave 5,000, gave no more than one gave 50. Because every dime was used for this.
Yes.
We could not have the foundations of this if I had not used them in nickel.
Yes.
That's why I have no problem with them. I don't fight with them. I don't mention their names. I have no problem with them because I will say and I will not lie. I appreciate everything they did. And every dime they gave, every offering. I have never, no one can say that, talked against them. Oh, I knew their wicked ways. Listen to what it says in Jude 1:4. For there are certain men, well, there are certain men that they allow their own conscience to creep in to the way of God. That's what a certain man do. Well, I do things my way. But there were certain men, and they have crept in unawarely. They let things creep into their hearts and they're not even aware of it.
Yes.
They do things that they know is wrong, it's evil and it's wicked, but they still perform it. They crept in unawarely, who before of all ordinance of the condemnation of righteous men. They should have been condemned, but it's one thing that God does today. I've watched them over all these years, 20-some years. I've watched them go their ways. And they all know their God and they're right. Their God is not worth a damn spit it out of my mouth.
Yes.
Damn their gods. Damn every God. And their faggot Jesus.
Yes.
This is what they have done. They have turned or turning the free unmerited Shabbat and the kindness of our Abba into lasciviousness. It's nothing but brighter lust. Can I say this, nation? You can go to those gatherings anywhere. The women are lustful. They dress like nickel-dime whores. They dress like penny whores. You are a cheap whore woman when you must advertise yourself that way. You have no confidence. And anybody that wants you can have you, and they just have you. And throw you away like a pile of shit. They know you a whore and a dog. That's why you're dressed like that. When they see a woman that, I'll marry a woman like that. And hell, she may be worse than the one that dressed like a whore. Dressed like dogs. Putting on things that are an abomination unto young. Y'all says a woman should not put on a woman's. Y'all says to us that a man should not put on a woman's garment, I should a woman put on a man's garment. So undoubtedly there's a garment for a man, a chali, and a garment for a woman. It's an abomination. And these Jezebel talk, I quote, I bless God. Go ahead and bless your God. Because he's a damn dog. Turn around, G-O-D, and you get B-O-G. All right. Through their own lasciviousness, that's our problem. Our own lust, our wickedness. And they deny the second Passover, Yeshua. Why would you be going to a second one that Yeshua is able to cleanse you and wash you and purge you from all of your sins? If you confess them, why do I have to wait another month?
Yeah.
I'm not unclean. I'm a wicked man. I don't practice wickedness.
Yeah.
Yeshua is the purger.
Yes.
He cleanses. His dime is sufficient. And you tell me you do the second one, fools? They're fools. And they promote that too. They promote it big time. And even in my ignorance 10, 12 years ago, I knew exactly when I went to the scripture, I said, that's not of y'all. He didn't ordain that man. And so what did that make me do? I got hundreds of pages just on this. See, these young jitterbugs think they're smart. They don't realize the years that I put in.
Yes.
I'm a warrior. You may be a soldier, but I'm a good man. I'm a strong man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to agree with you fools, all right?
Yeah.
Because you're wrong. He's in lasciviousness, comma there, isn't it? And they deny Yah the only Abba. He gave us one Passover. Yahshua is the second. Because we have not fulfilled, you can see it. That's why Shaul rebuked them. He said, when you come together to eat the dinner or the time to fellowship with Yah, you all are greedy dogs and you're trying to take. You notice that in meals, especially among certain types, they want to get everything. They want to take some back to Jimmy Jub and Shemok and Kibamoko and Sikanaka and Sakababa, and they're greedy dogs. They're dogs. They're dogs. They act like dogs. And they're trying to grab everything. They don't give a damn about no one else getting anything. And they don't bring a damn thing. They deny Yah the only Abba and our Master Yahshua. That's what you're doing, my friends. Well, you got to prove that. I'm going to prove it. But you know, I'm going to worry about it. They deny the power of the name of Yahshua. That's why they're keeping what they call a second Passover. While they're doing that to justify their lies. Can I ask you a question, Sam? Just think. You think that Hannah knew anything about what we call the equinox of the solstice? He didn't know a damn thing. It's a new word. It was only brought into our vocabulary in the 15th century of our time. These are fools out there. They are stupid and you're not going to convince them. I'm not going to try to convince no man. The word. I get my knowledge of what the Jewish people are doing from their scholars. I've got enough information on it right now to show you how stupid this world is. But I want to finish this today, all right? Hallelujah. I go to the scholarship of the Jews. I don't go to the scholarship of the white man. Jews don't consider themselves white. Or the Angloid, I go to Jewish, the Karia, and the Jewish orthodoxy. And they would tell you it's nothing but a foolish mess. They would tell you. You think Moshe knew what the equinox was. They didn't even have time to, they wouldn't even know what it is. And they brought examples like words don't mean that they are that same word. In the days, the word computer meant this. Computer was a word in the 50s, in the 40s. It meant simply this. A man observing, taking notes, counting. That's what a computer was. And now what is a computer? There is like, these things are there more than computers. Their minds are official that think. Because they make you think. They make you think. They make you think. And that's a fact. You love them more than you love Him. You love them more than you love Yah. And that's a damn fact. You go to hell with your lies. Hallelujah. Let's turn back quickly. Let's go to Devarim. I want to deal with that certain man or certain men for a moment, all right? Devarim. And this is what we do. They have defiled themselves with their gods. YisraYah'ale. Here in Devarim, Deuteronomy 13:13, it talks about certain men. Is that the beginning of that sentence construct syntax? Devarim 13:13, does it say certain men? Yeah. It says certain men, the children, he tells you they are worthless. They're children of YisraYah'ale. Worthless men, they are dogs as they go. Quote, there's a comma. They have gone out from among us. There were those that start and those that go on their own tangent of their own religious belief. You see, he said they were part of us, not that they've gone out from us. They will listen to you, now they're gone away from you. They will hear your words and now they're gone away. They've gone out from among us and they have nodaka, withdrawn themselves. They have driven themselves away. They want to be banished. They don't want to be a part of you. The inhabitants of this city says, this is what they say, let us go serve our God. You go serve your white God. You go serve your Jew God. You go serve your black God. You go serve your China God. You go serve your Japanese God. Yes. That's what you do. And that's what they say. I'm serving my God, the God of your evil, wicked heart. The power of a God is one thing. When Satan, when this devious mind, when this Nahash spoke to Hava, he says you will become like a God. None the difference between Tav and Ra, good and evil. You make up your own damn good. You make up your own evil. Well, I don't think that's bad. That's the power of any God, because he's a dog. All gods are dogs. Y'all's in the class by himself. His name is enough to speak who he is. He's beyond the Almighty. He need no descriptive superlative to denote who he is. And that's the strength of every God. And everybody got their own, quote, religious practices, and quote. Well, I love God. I know you love your wicked self. Because you consort with only you when you're wrong to make you feel right. And that's a fact. And so he talks about certain men. Well, they ain't right down there. He's right in here with us, though. That's all that matters. Then the Jezebel came here on Thursday. When I said, call the deputy sheriff, I did. I said, they know me down there. They know of me because they know I'm an honorable man. And that Jezebel from the gutters of hell, you know what she said? She said, I know they know you. Because when I went to jail, they told me, asked me, where were you raised? She told them, here. And they said her words, quote, we know them people. We don't mess with them. Unquote. So it's a man's reputation that speaks more than anything. Yes. And that deputy had no problem when I said, I got it. I didn't want to see the sluts go to jail. Can I say this? They lied. They lied to say, and the mammy wrote me. I want to inject this in you. Yes. You don't have to know who she is. But the dog of a mammy wrote me. She wrote me again. I sent her an email back. I didn't even read it. I just sent it back to read it. You think about what you said. Those two sluts, they incriminated everybody. She talked to her like she was a dog. Called her every kind of foul name there is. I said, these are cousins now. Cousins of each other. They accuse everyone. They even accuse her husband, saying how he raped them, looked at them naked, looked in the mirror. Now this is what the mammy dog doesn't know. Did they tell you that? Did they say that? No. You don't know what we're going to be raped? They accuse Akim that I know they were lies. They condemned everybody here, and you that thought you were smiling. There was one thing they said. One thing. Out of all the people here, they were nice to no one. There was only one person here that was kind and sweet, did us right. And they mentioned her. And I'm like, you stupid jackasses, you don't realize that her affection expressed my strength. You're stupid. Get off these grounds now. And I made one walk all the way up to the front. You pick her up. You still gave what I felt sorry for. Tremendous offering. I took away from what I would use. That's all right. And y'all's already given it back. And then they go tell them wicked man that was a welfare Jezebel. Ignorant slut. Took off welfare. Can I say this? Emma, please trust me. Even in Shaw, I never took their money. I used it all in their buy food. I didn't want them being beggars, sending them to school. I sent both of them. The one down the road here, I sent both of them. The one got a job there at AT&T when she saw them Philly flat black girls, and there was some flat girls that worked at AT&T. Right there, but they were fly. You could ride by there and see them. You knew they were fly. They were fly girls. She worked one day. She worked 4 hours. Never went back to get her check. She was so ashamed. And if it hadn't been for this man here to tell her, look at me. You go and apply for any kind of job you want. You're not a doctor or a nurse with any kind of skill training. I don't care what it is. If you're going to work on computers, she did it. She got the job. She was making $15 an hour back then. You think it came from their stupidity? These dogs don't. They're dogs. Your daddy gave. He brought home $350 a week. And it depends. He would give the community $200. Or that time he would give $175. His salary was the same. No electric bill. He gave as much as their wicked mammon and what they gave. And I tried to, with all of them, put certain amount back, buy bonds. Same thing with her money. When she left, she said, I don't want nothing. When Cole died here, his wife had a tremendous amount of money. The finances were a little different, but when them dogs were hitting the finance, we had no money. We would live off $750 a week, and I don't know how. To this day, I don't know how it worked. I just bless y'all. I never wasted a dime or nickel, and I'm more entrenched now than I was back then. And that's the truth. I don't know how we lived all that. We did. And you all didn't know because I never told you. And I wasn't about to tell. My expression never changed on all my teaching. And this is what we're up against this day. A wicked, evil world.
Yes.
It doesn't trouble me what nobody says about me. It doesn't now. Trust me, or I don't lose no sleep. I slept to 5 this morning. I want to get back to this, all right? I wanted to inject that. I wanted to inject that. In order for her to be kind and sweet, there must be one that has shown her that kind of tenderness and gentleness of correction and rebuke. No doubt about that. Not. Yet, great love, care, kindness. That's right. Can I move a little further than that? They said, let's go in Devarim 13:30. Let's go serve our gods. Which you don't even know your damn dirty gods. You don't even know yourself. You don't even know the depths of your depravity and your sin. But you know that you're nice and right. You do everybody, quote, good. You're sweet to everybody, unquote. That's a lie. Because if you love everyone, you would love yourself first. You can't even love nobody until you love yourself. You will correct yourself. And when you're lying, you will say, I'm a dirty liar. You know, you say I'm wrong. Only a dog will not say I'm wrong. I don't give a damn if I touch her, or if I touch you or your wife or your children.
Yeah.
You tells us we're liars and come up, why did I lie? That's what children do, don't they? No, Mama, I lied. You know they lied. You don't want to call it a lie. Well, Mr. Trump doesn't lie. Well, he tends to. I don't want to say twist the truth, but he presents it in a different way. He's a damn liar. Today there is no lie today. And everyone, listen. Don't even consider me. Don't even hear what I say. Find you someone else. We're all right.
Yeah.
We're going to be all right beyond that. One more place quickly, hurry up. It's in Jeremiah chapter 26. We're talking about certain men. And Bemidbar 9:6 talk about certain men that were unclean. And this is the attitude of the certain man. They are unclean. They will rise up against Yah. He shows us the component of a certain man. They will creep in and say, well, I don't know, you know. We had a dog, a fat dog that sat over here. And he would go around, he would go to the weak ones and say things. He was a greedy damn dog. And he's going to die that way. And try to convince him, well, he was wrong about that. If you're so strong, come to me. Because you know I would blade you open. I would take the sword and cut your guts out. But he was a coward. That's why I put him off. It wasn't that incident. But he was nothing but a dirty dog. He was a dirty coward. That's all he was, a dirty coward. I didn't miss him 1 second. Get off the grounds. I even said to him, you can have that trailer. Now that's a bone. I don't even want you to bring it back. I don't know nothing you have touched. But he's nice. He's a damn dog, and that's what he was. You say what you want to. Look what Jeremiah says, 26:17. Then rose up certain men. And this is Enusha. When y'all talks about these certain men, he's talking about an Enusha. He's talking about men that are carnal. That's what the word Enush. Ish is talking about man that is made after the formation of Yah. When he used the word Enush, he's talking about men that are carnal, they're mortal men. They lie, they steal, they cheat. And he talks about certain men rose up of the land. And they spoke to all the congregation of the people, saying, this is how we do things. We try to find those that we can convince by our moral skill set, and we try to convince them. And so they talk to certain of the people of the land, and they say, you all know that Micaiah, you all don't know him. The one that says he's like Yah, that's what his name implies. Yeah, that old Moroshite, that person, you all remember him, he prophesied in the days of Hezekiah. In the days of Hezekiah, the king of Yehuda, and he spoke to all people of Yehuda, saying, thus saith Yah of hosts, Zion shall be plowed like a field, Yerushalayim become he. And the mountain of the house of the dead as the high place of the forest. Now, I like that because you read on down that you realize that Yah did show his Hesed. And that's what YHWH is. He is the Hesed of Yah. He is the great kindness, the favor. We embrace him. We embrace truth. You don't need a second Passover. You must keep the first. Devils. Yeah. If you're unclean, you can't. If you've done your brothers and sisters wrong, he gives us time, doesn't he?
Yes.
He gives us time when we spot that first moon. He did not give us what we have to calculate. And you are dirty devils that trying to convince people that he gave us nothing to calculate. You can be a man that can't read or write. Yet all thing you got to do when you hear the truth, you know it's the truth, you can look up there in the heavens. I got about 4 calendars with the moon sign to try to see, because some will say 1% on this day and day in between, and I want to look for that. And there's a $50 for whoever finds the moon. Children. This is the kind of hypocrite we are. Children do nice things, you give them to, okay, whoever do that, make them more egotistic. So nobody over, I got to include her, over 15. So you already, I will post them like I did last year, so they will become conscious. Yes. Train them up in the way they should go. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to give 20 every month. I'm going to give 50 to the one that's fine. That's right. So you better get mom and daddy with you. They can get at least 10 of it. Half of them give you half that. You may not well inspire us, our babies. Yes. You understand this is real. Yes. Yeah. They look for the damn 25th of December and Easter, Esther. And that's what this is all about, this equinox. It's about paganism and the gods of the Druids and all. I can prove it. You can go on the internet and find all this stuff. And these jackasses think that they can interpretate Hanukkah. You just can't interpretate Hanukkah by himself. You can't interpret the second Passover. Can I go to the Father? Yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah. Now in Leviticus, I made known to us in the 11th chapter, in Leviticus 11, it deals with one thing. It deals with 11, that deals with what could be eaten, the beasts and all those things, and what things you don't touch, all right? Carcasses of certain beasts you don't touch. But let's go back to YHWH 11:24. I want to read this. That these men were defiled. And they were defiled because it says in Bimidbar they were defiled by the dead body. Yeah. They were defiled by the dead body. I want to show you the emphasis of that here beginning in YHWH Leviticus 11:24. Yah says, and for these you shall be unclean. These are the things that make you unclean. You buy that? Yes. But I'm going to show you the profoundness of it. And the resolution only in Yahshua HaMashiach. To the Yah, for the time of Yahshua, my King. I brought Yah, for the time of Yahshua, my great King. Bless you, Yahshua. This is what it says implicitly. It says, and for these you shall be unclean. That's what the one says. Whosoever touches the carcasses of them shall be unclean until evening. You touch the body before the Pesach, you are unclean. You couldn't do it.
Yes.
This was still dirty and unclean.
Yes.
But I like this resolution right here. Can I direct you to this one?
Hallelujah.
Colossians. Quickly. Chapter 2. This is the thing that separates us from Yah greater than anything. Not be touching some old dead piece of clay in a casket. I will show it. Show us. I will show us. I will show us the death here. Colossians chapter 2 verse 13. And you, I am Yah. I'm guilty. You find me here. You being dead in the trespasses of your sin. We allow sin to touch us. We touch every kind of evil sin. We touch every kind of corrupt thing, just like the certain man. And we were dead in the trespasses of our sin. There was no circumcision. Brit milah. There was no cutting of the foreskin. No circumcision of your flesh. We don't walk in the flesh. We walk in the ruach of Yah. Those that are led by Haruach, they are the sons of the Bane. They are the sons of Yah. And so we touch our sins. And when we go for the Passover, we touch our evilness because I don't want to be with her. I want to touch her foot. I don't want to do that with her. I don't want to do that. There's an evilness among this nation of people because you're an arrogant Jezebel or dumbass man.
Yes.
It's your sins. And you don't realize you should not do it. We were dead in the trespasses of our sins. I like this part here. Uncircumcised in the flesh, there's a comma there.
Yes.
Has he made alive? He has quickened us together with him.
Yeah.
He has given us life to come together in his ordinance and his ways. Why? This is it. You see, there was an offering before your transgression were forgiven. You cannot say that a leper or a man that was a leper was clean unless you went through the entire process of Yah. It says, having forgiven us of all, not some. Like Moshe did all that Yah commanded Noah. He's inflicting. Now you can't hold no sin on my charge. He's forgiven us of all trespasses.
Yeah.
I can keep it.
Yeah.
If I fell short out before Yah, I'm a dirty dog. That's the way my prayer is. I talk about me like that. I'm a dirty dog, a beast of a dog. I talk to me that way. You may not, but that's how I talk to me. Oh, trespasses. And this is the part when he used the word ex-elifo. Ex-elifo. I like the way it sounds, but it means this. Blotting. Ex-elifo. When I saw that in the Greek language, I said, this is all right. This shows you how ignorant I am. Can I tell you what it means? It's going to refresh us. It means to anoint and wash in every part. The dog gets down between your two fists, get between your toes. Sometimes you don't feel like bending down there and washing between the toes. You can't get the leg up high enough to wash between the toes there. You understand that? But that's what the word implies, to anoint. It means to wash in every part. My filthy mind, my wicked heart, my evil ways. That's what he done. Blotting. He said, come here, react thy ways. I want to wash in places like babies. Don't walk through the washes. Oh, no. No, wash me in the dumb. Cleanse me. That's where understanding of Torah comes. Because they come from these liars and jitterbugs up there. I've even developed an appreciation for the Greek language. Not like the Hebrew language, but because the words are basically similar. Those Greek words are, man, it'd be 20 letters in one word. Afro pataka sika. And I let that thing announce and pronounce it over and over. Anything that you repeat 7 times, and you just do things 7 times. This is like the word epigomeno. I couldn't get that together. Those words you can't find in the dictionaries. You can't find that word in the dictionary, epigomeno or ipach, because it's spelled E-P-A. Well, I don't get the epic. I see E-P-E-C to get the epic. But I pronounce it ipach, ipach, intercalary. And I practice words over and over and over. I practice, she knows what I'm talking about. I practice it in color. What are you saying? Okay. See, that's what he's blotting out. He didn't destroy the Torah. Blotting out the handwriting of ordinance. He said, I got it all covered in me. This dung is sufficient. Yeah. You don't have to go through the process of washing. I wash you from your sins. Come and dine with me. Come and eat with me. Let us eat the first one together. He didn't have no second one. He had one. He says the handwriting of ordinance. That doesn't mean he did away with where ye robbed, bimedbar, tibarim. That doesn't mean that. That means just what it said. Exelifoa. He washed us. Yes. And he washes us. His blood is sufficient. It cleanses us. And we can eat the Passover any time. Yeah. Even though we're wicked, it should transform our mind. When we truly confess our sins, it transfers us. He said those things, they were against you, which was contrary to us. And that's what he did. He said, I took it out of your way. You have no problem. You don't have to keep the second one, keep the first one. Like I ordained Moses. What did I do? Nailing it to the stake. I took it with me. Yeah. I don't want you to have the burden of that. I'll take that upon myself. And I'll bear the burden for you all for that. Just come at that period of time and say, young people, you got days when you see that slither of the moon, just start preparing. You say, yeah, help me, please. Yeah. I need help. Yeah, this my ways that you don't have to make no year's resolution in years. Just know that y'all from last year to this year, he kept you. Yeah. And all of our sins, they were nailed to that stake. Yeah. And he washed you in your evil ways, in your lying ways, your devilish ways that nobody knows but you and your damn corrupt mind. Yes. Let's get real. That unclean thing. I want to do this quickly in Hezekiah. Here in Hezekiah chapter 2. I want to show you the depth of this uncleanliness. That's why it's one thing that what uncleanliness will do. It will hinder the work of God. You can't be a hoe and say you love God. You can be a hoe and say you love God. You can be a dirty slut and say you love God, but you can't be righteous and say you love God. This is how all men will know you love me, that you keep his mitzvah. You keep his commandments. You can pretend all you want to, you're nothing but a dirty little slut. You can feel remorse. I don't. And that's a fact. Look what it says in Haggai 2:13. Then said Hezekiah, if one that is unclean, remember that the carcass, Haggai, if one that is unclean by a dead body, touch any of these. So if I touch a dead body, that's why you're not supposed to bring the dead bodies in Yah's tabernacle. You're supposed to take them out there and we bury them out there, all right? By these you shall be unclean. This was the arousing of the people. He said to Haggai, if I touch my mama, I ain't not unclean. You touch your mother's sins, you hide your mother's sins, your father's evil ways, and you will hide their sin. Let's see how the Kohen. And the Kohen answered and said, it shall be unclean. You are unclean. We trying to get our way, it shall be unclean. Then the Nobi, the prophet of Yah, answered and said, so is this people. I bless Yah that I don't have to try to wash myself with mitre. I let the word wash me. I let it convince me. I want to be convinced and convicted. Every time someone gets me told, I'm evil, I'm rotten to the core, I don't ever want to exude myself about I'm a special person. There's nothing special about me. I'm not going to die any different than anyone else. It's going to die by some disease. I'm going to drop down and die. You're going to die. That's a fact. Then as Hezekiah said, so is this people. Not only the people, well, that's not me. He says, so is this nation before me. This is what Yah says. So is this damn nation, says Yah. And so is every work of their hand, and that which they offer there is unclean. Even their prayers are nasty. Even their praising of me, I despise it. Because they know they're wicked and they're evil. I hate that. I bless Yah for the God of Yahshua. I'm glad what he did on that stick that he nailed all those handwritings against me. You don't practice sin, nation. You don't go back the way you went yesterday. You don't go back the way you went this morning. Hallelujah. We will travel that straight and narrow path, the road of Sadiq. That is, Yah is that road. We walk up and down in him, nation. And you are liars and devils to identify with the second tabernacle or second Pesach or Passover. I will identify that. I'm going to show us that. We are unclean and defiled. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Look quickly here in Yochanan. I want to finish up, all right. I can finish up. Woo. Here in Yochanan, quickly, in John. It says here in 1828, look at this now. This, even those that call themselves Yehudim and YisraYah'ale. It said, then they led Yeshua from Caiaphas to the hall of judgment. They knew that the judgment was wrong. That's why you don't judge brothers and sisters out of your evil ways. You judge them according to Torah. And it was early, and they themselves went not in to the judgment hall because they knew it was time for the Passover. They went not in. They didn't even go in. Why? Why they did not go in? Lest they shall be defiled. Me and no. Lest they shall be defiled. Polluted, sullied, contaminated, defiled with sins. Why? Because you don't bring your own judgment against one that you know that you're lying. That defiles you. You don't charge a brother or sister something or degree of something whereby they've done something wrong and they haven't done wrong. You don't do that. That's not how you do it, nation. We don't do it that way. We don't do it that way. You can't do that. We defile ourselves that way. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He said, unless, why? So that they might eat the Passover. Is that what it says? Yes. You don't touch something like that. You don't touch things that you know that they're wrong to touch. You don't mess with that, nation. Leave it alone. It's not your affair. Leave it alone. If you don't have the wisdom to relate to, just leave it alone. Yes. It'll come. Yes. It will come. Fact of the matter, it will come. It will come. Titus tells us this. Titus, listen. Titus 1:15. Titus 1:15. To the pure all things are pure. But to them that defile and unbelieving is nothing pure. See, we don't believe. That's why we're not pure. To those that are defiled and unbelieving, there's nothing pure. Even their mind and their conscience is defiled. That's why we can't keep the Passover Yah. But our minds become so full of sin and rage and evilness, we're defiled. When we disobey, when we retain things in us, we know it's wrong and it's evil. You can't keep that. They didn't want to bring a false judgment against Yahshua. That's why they didn't go in the judgment hall, because they knew that Passover was there. And they knew that they could not touch that which was created out of uncleanness of the mind. So when the mind is pure, we do things that are pure. You can't get your mind pure, people. You can't constitute your mind. It is only done by the statutes, the commandments, and the oral Torah that teach us. It reminds each of us of my sin. It doesn't tell me her sins. My mind tells me my sins. It doesn't tell me your sins. It tells me my sin. And I can see your action and your reaction. I can know when something is wrong. You mothers can't tell when there's something wrong with your children. that is? Come on. I remember going to the dining hall years back because the people were stupid. And the way I do now, I've always done that. Shalom. I had this Jezebel woman, she came in. Shalom, people. And I said, you dirty hoe. And that's what she is today, dirty hoe. And I said to my imam, I want you to go to. I said, no, hell no. And I rebuked her. Right there. Woman, just be quiet. I rebuked her, yes, sir. Shalom! Then she did. I said, oh, hell no. She was trying to show what kind of order she's going to dispense. No. I rebuked her right there before the whole people in the dining hall done it is today. I rebuked her. Where is she today? She looks like a dog of a slut. That's right. Don't get up to me, that's all right. Second Passover. They say we're here in YHWH. We're not going in there bringing accusation against Yahshua. And so that's what we hold in our flesh, that we say that he's not able to cleanse me from this and forgive me. He's not able to point this out to me. That's what he's about. He point out things to us. Yeah. What we all about. We don't need, there's no second Passover. The only second one was Yahshua HaMashiach for us. That's what that is. It's not you call yourself doing that in your rituals as a Jew and all that. That's a lie. You do that so you can keep pace and to keep everything in the order of the pagan system, the Easter and the Christmas and all. That's the only reason they do that. And that's the only reason they try to translate Hanukkah into, he was talking about the equinox. That's a lie. Hanukkah didn't even know what a Latin phrase. The word equinox is a Latin word that really, Hipporamus, that he brought that word to play in the 15th century. But the Druids and all of them knew about that because they celebrate, and the witches, and they brought all these witches and all this satanic mess over to Yah so they can be in line with him. Yah's not in line with the gods. He's not in line with the dogs. And that's what these dogs are doing. They're dogs all in you. You can't convince me that your lies quickly. Can I move quickly? Hallelujah, hallelujah. Where did I stop in that one? Hallelujah. I stopped in, I stopped where now? I just read John 18:29, right? And then I read Titus 1:15, all right? Listen, nation, hear me please, all of us. Only a few are going to make it. I don't care how nice I may think I am. I don't care how, and a dog said that you were nice, 2 dogs. I don't care what they say. I want to show us something here. He says in Revelation, I went from Bereshit to Bereshit, Revelation. This is what Yochanan, this is what Yahshua said to him. Revelation chapter 3 verse 4. You have a few names even in Sardis, which have not defiled their garment. You cannot even keep the Passover with defilement. Their garment. And they shall walk with me in white, because they are worthy. That's why we wear white on Passover. Because we walk in hand with Yahshua. Just a few. He said, you have a few. Mi'ats, mi'ut. It's not many. He said, there are just a few. They have not defiled themselves. They have not. They have not. And those of YHWH, they prepared for that. They had gathered in the food. They had gathered in some of the harvest and all of that because it was a celebratory time, the Pesach, the Passover. They didn't have what we have, shower houses and bathrooms in your home. They didn't have that. They had what they call outside the camp, where you book, and they took it outside the camp. And there were those that did that, and they buried that. And that was a fact. They didn't have no hotels doing Sukkah, and they didn't have no hotels doing Passover. There was nowhere to stay. They brought their tents, and they stayed in them, and they gathered Benjamin here, and Gad there, and Naphtali here, and Dan. They all gathered around their places where they should be on the east, or the west, the south, and the north, and that's where they gathered. And I knew I would see you every year because I know where you're going to come. No stranger, we're going to take your spot. There's a disconnection. Nobody gives a damn. They don't care. You don't know how to love. People don't know how to love today. You women better teach the young ones how to love. It begins with their husband. Their husband got to teach her how to love them. That's a fact. They like that or not? I can't bless so in Miss Smith, she did teach you some things that I appreciate. I do. She did. Learn how to cook and make me fat. I like that. Got you. Let's go back. I want to go back to Midbar. Numbers 9 and 7 quickly. I don't want to be here much longer. Hallelujah. That's where I stopped. I stopped at Numbers, remember 9:6, right? So 9:7. He says this. Listen, it's important. But those men said to him, we are defiled. Those that are undefiled, they are blessed. They said they were honest. We're tamei, we're unclean, we stink, we're defiled by a dead body of a man. Wherefore we kept back, that we may not offer an offering unto Yahweh. It says in his appointed season. Not in yours, but in his appointed season. And so they were bad for. What do we do? It must be offered in his appointed season among the children of YisraYah'ale. And then verse 8, carefully, that his appointed season is so important. But I want to move because of the expedience of time. Bimidbar, Numbers 9:8, and Moshe said to them, he said, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to respond. He said, stand still. So we must stand still to see the salvation of Yah. He said, stand still. And I will hear what Yah commands concerning this. And Yah spoke to Moshe. Now let's see what he said to him. This is important. He says this. I want you to speak to the children of YisraYah'ale. If any man of you or your offspring shall be tormented by reason of a dead nefesh or a dead person. Now, this is not just a dead body in the physicality, but you know that those are dead in the trespasses of sin, and you join yourself unto them. You know they're evil, you know they're wrong. You know they're evil. He says of a dead body, if you touch that which is evil, dead, you know it's a dead body. There's a comma, there's a conjunction. Or, be it a journey afar off. Who has to go far to keep the Pesach? The first one. Nobody. There are those that are sitting today with us. That when he taught on the other night, back, I don't know what, 500 people almost have. Listen to that. So what do you have to travel? You sit right in your home and you keep the Pesach with us and others. But at the appointed time. Yes. So who has to travel to YHWH to keep it? They had traveled from distance. To travel 175 miles then is different than traveling here today. And they have vehicles that they could fly 75, 80 miles an hour. And they have that. So a man had to prepare himself 3 months in advance to make sure everything was in order, everything was in is place. He had to. And there were those that were genuinely on their way, and they just said, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. But they were unclean. So Moshe had to seek Yah about that. These brothers came so far. They came here in such agony. I'm so sorry. And we couldn't, there was a tremendous storm. That just, we couldn't even move, the rain whatsoever. We tried, we couldn't rain. And we were coming through that path that way. There was some Girgahites, and they were standing there with their swords, and they were looking for those that they don't love. I'm so sorry, Yah, please forgive me. He sought Yah for that. Unless you're traveling a long journey, And your journey of sin is long. It'll take you down some unproven roads, all right? Lest you have touched that which is defiled and unclean. He sought Yah for that. And Yah answered him, or by reason of a dead nephesh, or being a journey afar off, two reasons. He shall Shema, he shall keep the Pesach. Verse 11. He says in the 14th day, he doesn't change anything. There must be a witness of this, and this are a witness of what? The second Pesach, and why those did not keep the first. It must be. Yes. It must be established in two places in this book. He says on the 14th day of the second month at evening, they shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. They got to do it just like you do the first one. He says also in verse 12, and they shall leave none of it to the morning, nor break any bone of it, according to not some, he says all, until all the ordinance of the Pesach they shall keep it. No other way. And then in verse 13, he says this, but, there's an ultimatum there, but the man that is clean, that hasn't done no wrong, he is dahoma, and is not in a journey. And a man doesn't have to travel 1,000 miles to get here, 500 miles. You gotta load your camels down. They don't move that fast, dromedaries. Your jackasses, your mules. You got 7 youngers. You can't press them all the way. The heat is barren. And Yah, because of his kindness, that's why in all of our sins, we must pay for all of our whoredom and all of our corruption. He set the second Passover. We keep that one. We keep him in our hearts, all right? Yes. Not this function that you performed this year and many years in the past. He says it's not in a journey, and he forbears, he he cease. When one forbears, when he ceases to do, when he just forsake it, when he forbears to keep the Pesach. You notice in the first month, all your devils, I give you Yah's judgment. Even the same nephesh shall be kara. He shall kill him, kill the dog, shall be kara off from among his people. Is that what it says? Among his people. Colon there, because he brought not the offering of Yah in his appointed season. They have hosts. He didn't say nothing about no equinox. He didn't say nothing about adding no days. Has to be at a certain time. No, he said at his appointed time. Yah appoint things you may not understand, but he appointed. Yeah. Can I change that appointment? No, you got to be here tomorrow, June 18th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He appoints the time and the season. It makes no difference if your intellect doesn't equate to that or understand it. You don't add nothing to that because pays are going to be added to you. Yes. Yeah. Equinox. This is so stupid. You can't tell me Moshe knew when the equinox was. Because Yah said to Noah, you're going to stay in this boat for 1 year. He said, Yah, you don't realize that you're going to stay that year. And when he came out of that, there was nothing shining but the sliver of that western horizon of that moon. Yeah. Yes, the sun, the stars all went in conjunction with the moon. But he gave him the ordinance of the night and the season like he did the sun. And the sun cannot impose upon the moon. He set the moon for the sun. He gave us a lunar, what we call yam. That's what the word lunar is, yam, a day. The sun rules here. These are stupid individuals. I don't even want to waste my time with them. Yeah. They're stupid. He said among his people, because he had brought not the offering of Yah's in upon the season, that man shall bear his sin. I'm glad for this second Pesach of the Passover YHWH. I don't have to bear them sins. I'm glad that you see how the continuity of this is and how it makes sense and how it's so easy for us to be corrupted because of personality and people. I know my language is harsh. I know I act with stupidity. I understand that. I'm not going to change it. I know it's rude and crude. It's not polished and intelligent. I don't care. I don't care if you get mad. I don't care if you get mad, your mammy get mad. If she come up out of the grave with my mammy, it wouldn't make me no different at all. You all are crazy. I don't care if your wife, your son, your daughters get nutty and fruity. I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking here first and to every last one of you all. You as well. You don't escape nothing here. You think you're pristine? You're a fool. You will go to hell as far as I'm concerned. Anytime we reject God's truth, we are blatant in our offense to Him, and we say to Him, I know how people think, damn you. And that's what we say. We're hard-headed with our parents. We say, I don't give a damn. My mind is shut. Yeah, a damn is when you shut your mind, you get crazy as hell, and you don't give a damn because you're so damned up in your mind. You don't care if you bring shame on nobody because you are a ruthless fool.
Yeah.
You're stupid. Come on and challenge me then. I'm not coming to your place, come here. You can eat well, at least with me here. You're not going to stay here. You can come. Let me know. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't tell me anything. That was the two reasons for the Pesach. Passover. You're traveling far. You're unclean. Yahshua nailed that to the cross. I mean, to the stake for you. That word is not even in my essence of words. He nailed that to the stake. That's what he did. He blotted out those handwritings in the sense that they will not affect you. And we can plead the dam. His dam is sufficient. Bless God for Yahshua's precious blood. In our ignorance, we don't understand. That's a different ballgame. I want to show us something in Hezekiah, all right? Something in 2nd Dibra Chaim, 2nd Chronicles. 2nd Chronicles, all right? You get that 2nd Chronicles. And I want to be gone here no later than 2:30 because I'm ready to eat. I'm hungry. Ain't nothing this morning. I'm hungry. I'm like Jean. I'm hungry. 30 miles today and I'm hungry. I've been torn away from every... got you. Got it? Look at that. You know it's all right. It's all right. Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I love truth. I know I love truth because it always condemns me. Yet that blood raised me up. Acknowledging the truth. I want you to go, as I said, 2nd Chronicles chapter 30. I want to begin reading in one verse here. Verse 1, all right? This is Hezekiah. Beautiful messenger. Not only was he the king, but he had the message of truth. True incidents now. There's a witness. That there was a second Passover by two permissible causes. And they sought, as he sought the Kohen. Look what it says in verse 1. And Hezekiah, he sent not to some, but all YisraYah'ale, 2 houses, and Yehuda, and he wrote letters, the seal. Also to Ephraim and Manasseh, that they should come, the bed of your aunts, and YisraYah'ale. And see, everybody can come here. We can all come together, Yahshua HaMashiach.
Yeah.
If you that's watching today, we all come together in the same house. You understand me?
Yes.
For one reason, to keep the Passover not to YisraYah'ale, but it says to their commitment unto Almighty Yahweh, the sovereign master of YisraYah'ale.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Father, please. For the Melech, the king, he had taken counsel, his princess, his czar, and all of the congregation in Jerusalem for what? To keep, to honor the Passover in the 2nd month. What do they keep it there? Well, the Torah tells us. It says, for they could not, the whole nation, they could not keep it at that time, because the Kohanim had not set themselves apart, they were not clean. They were frolicking in their wicked ways, their sins, their evil ways. They were not, and they did not carry the constitution of Yah's offering that the people should bring, and they were like Sedesia. They were frolicking in their sin. They had not cleansed themselves. They were not ready. They did not prepare themselves. The Kohen had not set themselves apart sufficiently. Listen, there's another comment, isn't it? It says, neither have the people gathered themselves together in Jerusalem. The people didn't care. They were about making money, doing their own thing, just like we don't give a damn. We're about our own business. You see the reasons? You travel so far, you're unclean too. And here the Kohen, those that the Kohen that guards the house of Yah, they were filthy. And that's why these dirty dogs. There's one by the name of Michael Root. I've known about him for a long time. He's been on the scene about 15 years. And he wears his Jewish garments, this long beard, his fedora, like a Lubavitch. And he takes all his counsel from that man. He's a lying, sneaky devil of a dog. And there are people that listen to him. He doesn't give you anything. You got to pay for everything. You got to pay for the Seder, as they pronounce it, announce it. You got to pay. They don't get nothing for you. You come here, eat nice roasted lamb and goat's meat. I don't want you to set a dime here for that. You know something for that. I don't want a damn nickel. You come here and see what God's doing. And if your heart is not moved to love the work of Yah in His people, go on. Don't worry about me, all right? How much it's going to cost? How much it is? Because when they have meetings like this, they got to pay for all of that. They got to pay chicken backs. One said to my Isha, we went to Tabernacle and all they had was chicken backs. You don't eat that here. You don't go that way. We eat well here. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the fact, we eat well here. There ain't no cheap cuts of meat. They go get some trash that everybody has. When they see that Angus roast, that Angus ground beef, they looking for, oh, I want that. I like that. I go and that's in the that's okay. I like that. But I see that no MS, no GMO and all that. I don't care about that because that doesn't affect us. Because you're going to have GMO in everything that is going in the field. And don't let these stupid jackasses tell you you're not. Because there's no field. You go down these boys down here on 6-year-old, they've changed their vendor now. What is it? They used to use, there are many people that sell GMO stuff. And when that bee sets its butt up on their corn, it comes right over and sets its butt on our corn. And the disposition of that corn invades the disposition of our corn. And when it goes back on his corn, set its butt there, it drops a little bit of that. So you're stupid. These people are so stupid, worried about GMO, and you're full of sin. You're full of your wickedness and you're corrupt in your pride. I'm not worried about no GMO, but that's fine. In order for you to be segregated in a place whereby you don't have to worry about GMO, you got to be in the boondock somewhere where nothing flies. You got to be at least 50, 60 miles away from creation of it. And there ain't that many places like that. These farms are major transits so they can haul their stuff. They're not in some woods going down some kind of mud road. They're all in modern facilities whereby the trucks and the tandems can come in and get that stuff. You're going down 6-year-old and you see the big old grain bins and that scale down there. You couldn't get that today for less than $1.5 to $2 million. You couldn't get that for $50,000. The scale alone will cost you $350,000. Probably more than that. Those bins, this is a crazy, stupid generation. We're going to bless that old Zaki, bless his room, bless the Yahshua's name. We brought this, hallelujah. That's enough for me. But I still buy that type. They play me, but that's all right. There are people that with some integrity. They're not just greedy for money. They want to make money. but their whole objective is quality. And the essence is quality. And even with that still, you think they test that grain in a way they test a small portion of hundreds of millions of bushels. And yours is ingredient with mine, and mine with yours, and yours with them, and them with they, and they with they, and they with you. And they dumped over there. They got bin. You see these big bins out there, they buy down here the road, they buy corn and wheat from anybody. They don't care who it is. What they're going to use it to feed your cows, and feed your chickens, and feed your hogs, and then they're going to turn that into the grocery store, okay? So let us not be so immature and stupid.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't think the chemicals that GMO put on you, but that's hybrid. Tell me one damn thing that's not hybrid. Stupid. If that bee sits on that farmer's stuff over there, right across the road, they'll travel up to 5 to 8 miles one way to get nectar for that queen. She is the boss woman and she makes babies. And they work and die for her. If they got a fly and they drop out of the sky, they'll keep going. Doesn't stop and say, you're dead, bee, because they bring in that nectar to that woman, that bad thing in the hive. And she puts it out and they work. He doesn't say GMO. And he comes right back and say, well, I'm tired. I'll suck on this corn a little bit. And come in fresh. I didn't lose it all. They're pollen on the legs and all of that, queen. I'm coming for you. This is a stupid generation.
Yes.
Oh, I'm eating all organic. Oh, you silly child. How can a deer be but organic? That's what he is. He eats in the woods. Then you go in your cornfield, but he's still organic. That's all they are, organic. Those hogs that are wild, they're organic hogs. You trying to feed them this diet and kelp and all that, some good pork meat. There's nothing excellent about your good pork meat. I want to finish here. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It says this here. It says, and the people themselves had not gathered. Now this is what we should feel. And you should feel if you keep the second page on. I want to work on this and show you the magnitude of it, and we're going to close. It says in 30:15, in the same chapter, they kept the Passover. Well, look what it says in 2 Chronicles 30:15. And they killed the Passover. That's what it said. Yeah. On the 14th day of the second month, and the Kohanim, this is the captives, and the Kohanim and the Levites, they were kalam. They were so ashamed. They were so embarrassed. You keeping the second Passover, you're not embarrassed? It says, does it say they were ashamed? Yeah. They were kalam. And kalam is not going to be defined by my intuition. Kalam is, they felt like they had insulted Yah. It's insulting. They felt so full of shame. They were full of shame. Now let me define shame for a minute. I define that by the English-speaking dictionary. This is what the word shame means. This is one component of being ashamed, is to be shamed. But shame means this. This adjective, it means this. It is a painful feeling that arises from the conscience of something that is dishonorable. They were so ashamed, they knew what they did. It was dishonorable. They had dishonored Yah. You see how the words, the catalyst of words, how they play into our activity and our action. If I just read the word ashamed, you say, okay, they felt bad. But that's, the components of it is greater than that. Yeah. When you feel ashamed, you have dishonored something. Yeah. If I go out on my wife with another woman, if I don't feel, if I'm not ashamed, that it's because I've dishonored her. I've dishonored her beauty. And that's what we do with God. We dishonor Him. Yes. To show you how the depths of being shameful is. It's a dishonor to the highest degree. It is painful, and it's painful because you know you've dishonored Him. And something that is dishonor, something that is improper, it is just ridiculous. You know you're wrong, You know you're not doing right. That's what shame is. But the word ashamed, it is that when there is this stress, you're embarrassed by guilt. Not only by guilt, but one of the components of shame is that it's a foolish dishonor. You see that? They knew they were foolish. They dishonored God. They knew they had time to make it ready. They knew they had time to cry the herald. And they had come back into this knowledge of truth. They knew they had time. And these devils know they got time. But they want to try to keep the feast days at a certain time and do everything according to their ignorance and their wrong. Well, I have about the equinox. Listen to me. I'm a student of things. I have defined the word by equinox. The first thing I went, and how do you say the word equinox in the Hebrew language? Kafuba. Kafuba. And so I began to search. I'm that ignorant and dumb. You can be smart. I'm not smart. And I say people don't even realize what they buy into. How not knew nothing about it. That is something that is new. It is new to America. Yet those that with their pagan religion, they utilize, they celebrate it. Wicca, the witches and all, they celebrate that. And so you tell me we have comported y'all's time to align with all these damn devils with Ostia and Easter and all these holidays. You are wicked as hell, man. You gonna die that way too. Y'all makes the appointed time. Well, can I make that appointment at 10:30? No, but I tell you, I got one open at 1:30 p.m. That's the earliest. That's the earliest unless something changes. Y'all's time do not change. And Hannah spoke correctly. And that's a fact. Yeah. You will tell a lie and say that 364 days is a solar year. That's a lie. It's 365 or 2 days. That's a solar year. People will lie, they don't give a damn. They will try to justify their lies. But I got you though. Hallelujah. It says because they were ashamed. And we should be ashamed to hold any kind of spirit in our mind to make me oppose you or you. We should be ashamed. And that's why those that 135 down to this. And they all are right. They're right around each other. They talk God and all that bogus bull. You know, they were the damn hoes and dogs. And that's a fact. I've done no man wrong. No man. I don't care what nobody says. I haven't treated no man wrong, but you're not going to push over y'all's people. Yeah. First of all, you're not going to push over me because if you throw me down, you can rape everybody. I won't let you do it. I told you all 2009, Ricky Biden wrote me a letter. I still have the letter. I showed my wife, I said, go write it. I still got the letter he wrote. He doesn't have the letter I wrote him. You see, that's the man I am. I showed them the other day that if I'm a liar, kill me, y'all. It was her grandmother. When she sold her mobile home, her son was trying to play. I said, don't give it to me. Bring me the money. May y'all kill me. She brought me $5,000 in a brown. Still got it. I spent every dime, every nickel with that house. And then. And I showed the Akeem, I said, I can show you, I still got it. I went in my house and opened up my little, I said, you see that? Here's the bag right here. The old woman brought me the money in that bag. And I kept the money in that bag. And they had that $5,000, the remnants of it. It took me about 6 to 8 months to spend it on them. I would go to Rick and I would get them gallon things of bean. I could get them for 50 cents a can back then. You go get 100 cans, you only spent $50, I will buy everything. Beans, you name it. I will buy it. And I will come back to that house and just let's unload it. I took her father's money. I said, you jackass. I said, I'm going to manage your money. I took it. He knew to bring it to me. He brought it to me. I didn't take his money to restore that house they stayed in up there. He took the tithes of our money and restored it. And the man he was renting from, I said, is he paying his rent? He said, no, he's this far behind. That's why I took his money. And I made him bring me the money. He brought every dime. I said, you better cash your check, bring me the check stub and bring it to me. You trying to run a man's house? Well, he wasn't running no house. I took his money. I saved every nickel. He ate. I gave him money for gas. And then he drove out back. No insurance. Didn't even have a vehicle. And I said, young man, I will bust your head. You got that missing, you think you're tough, but you don't know you're messing with the real man now, boy. That's how I talk to him. I saved every dime. Got his rent car up, paid his electric bill. I put $2,000 in his hand. I said, this is what you have left. I said, I will break your ass if you put one nickel in the offering. Now you can be hard-headed and wicked for one night. I mean it. See, you all don't know nothing. As if you put one single dime. And I got in his face. He thought it was dumb, but he didn't learn how to do. I've been fighting my days too, young man. You don't realize that I'm stronger than you. I got right in his face. What did I do? That love for that man paid me for that. I did the same thing with his father. Bring me your money. And got him squared away. He had more money saved. He had never saved that kind of money. Never took a dime from him. Never took his tithes until he moved here. Never. How about that? Yeah. How about that? Yeah. How about that? That's honesty. And may y'all kill me if I'm sitting up here lying. Yeah. I'm telling you all the truth. Yes. Hallelujah. Yeah. I'm not ashamed of the message of Joshua. This is him. And they were ashamed. And they were ashamed. And they set themselves apart. They cleaned themselves up. Then they brought in the burnt offering. They had to well and cry, wow, my how wicked I am that I don't care about you. How wicked. Let me show us a certain degree of that halal. I want to show us a few verses. What time do we start? 12, and I'm going to stop in 15, less than that. I want to show you how evil and how shameful this word halal is. Here in 1 Samuel, YHWH, chapter 20, verse 34. Yehonathah, this is Jonathan. Yah has given covenant. This is Jonathan when he knew his father Shaul had no love for the one he loved, Dawid. It says here, I want to show you how the degree of this shame is. Dishonor. 1 Samuel 20, 34. And Yehonathah arose from the table in fierce anger. That's what it should make you feel, angry. And did eat no meat the second day of the month. For he was grieved for what? For Dawid. He was grieved for Dawid because his father had done him kalam. He had tried to make him shameful and brought shame on him, talking behind his back, wanted to kill him. But he was Yah's man that was appointed. Just like you have been appointed for this battle for this time. Isn't it so wonderful when we can understand the completion of things and understand details? It is. That's why I love teaching and preaching. I don't want to come to you all unequipped. They don't. So I'm not going to come that way. And I may say things that may jog your conscience of a concept of things. But I know what I'm saying, nation. I know what I'm saying. And there are not many men that know what they're saying. They're repeaters of things. And they just say things because they've been taught that. Hallelujah. And that's just it. And there's no hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm going to read two other things that I'm going to close. I'm going on. All right? Hallelujah. We are this type of people that Yah commands us to cry and lament. We see our brothers and sisters in certain captivity or certain things. Then we should lament because the day of Yah is approaching, and there's no prophet that speaks about it. Like YHWH chapter 1 verse 11 quickly. He used the word bush. He says, be you ashamed. You should be so disappointed. You should be so humiliated. Be you bush, ashamed. Who is he talking with the husbandmen? Those that dress, men like myself, that come before you and try to instruct you. And I know I'm living like a dirty dog. He said, how you vine dressers? You that prepare the people that they can bring forth the essence of the fruit of the new wine, the renewed wine of Joshua, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field, there is no life in us. There's no life to the bread we're eating. We're leaving out things that we ought not to leave out in Torah. He says that the giftings, the vine, he's talking about YisraYah'ale, we dried up. No life, no love, no kindness, full of our own tongue. He said the vine is dried up. And the fig tree, that's YisraYah'ale, we language, and the pomegranate, and the palm tree, strong and tall ones also, and the apple tree, and even the trees of the field. There's no life in them. And with it. Why? Because joy is with it. Yabash. There is no joy in them. They are ashamed. And no joy is in it as with it away from the sons of men. And then he tells us this. Gird yourself, hallelujah, 13. Gird yourself and lament you clean. Howl, you ministers of the altar. Come lie all night in sackcloth, you ministers of Yah, for the meat offering and the drink offering. And the offerings are withheld from the house of Yah. You're so evil and dirty, you don't even offer up unto Yah. As we reminded, the hands of praises were shamed. We don't offer unto him the gift of Torah. Don't tell me that, Pamela. You can say that. I don't want you to say it, but you can say to the Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. It doesn't take much effort to say that because we're so corrupt and evil. And that's withheld from Yah. We don't even have no auction for it, no joy. That's why the joy is withheld. That's why we are unclean and nasty and wicked as the combination of YisraYah'ale. Hallelujah. 2 verses. I will read this quickly. This one Yah says there's the family of those that they mock me. Those of Lebanon. He said, but I'm going to kill them all. This is what he says in Jeremiah 22:22. He says, the wind shall eat up all your pastors. We fall in love with strange, wicked mess. He said, but the winds are going to eat up your pastors. And your lovers shall go into captivity. Surely they shall be ashamed. Surely they shall be ashamed. Surely they shall be ashamed and confound all of your wickedness. That's what makes us ashamed. That's what confounds us, our own wickedness. Nobody's wickedness confound you. It's your dirty wickedness, your evil ways. But there's one thing I bless Yah for. There's one thing here. I love him for this. I love him for all trials and all. But here is one that his name is Shlomo. He says this, I'm going to close here. Whosoever guard, Yishena, keep, asa, do, perform, watch over. Whosoever keep the Torah, they're full of chukmah, the wise, the wisdom. The Torah is what corrects us. Whosoever guard the Torah is wise. It's a wise son. It's a wise daughter. And I know a semicolon from a colon. I understand the punctuation of our language and syntax, not to the highest degree. But I can write a pretty decent sentence. I like to punctuate. I do. I know what my punctuation, I know where the comma goes and semicolon, I know. And there was no man in the historical time like Frederick Douglass. I have read one of his sentences, it would take him a whole paragraph. His punctuation and the continuity of it. I used to, my Fridays were this. Go to the bookstore and read books. I said in the bookstore and read books. White folks do it all the time. They sit there with their leg crossed and chairs in there, they're coughing, all that kind of stuff, and they would read. And I would go there and I got her into that. You go to that section and read, and I could read quite a bit. I could at least get some kind of understanding of the book. But even the writers and historians will tell you, there was no one that had the ability and the skill set of continuous sentence like Frederick Douglass. No one. And in his writing, you can see that. But I have to beg the difference. There's no one that can write like Yah.
Yeah.
This book is a continuous sentence of one word.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Whosoever guard the Torah, your wives, sons and daughters. But he that is a companion of a fool, a riotous, a gluttonous, a man that loves folly and sin, and your fellowship is with those that love to grin and skin and clown and jive and shuck buck and shuck mock. He says of that man, shame is your father. Shame is your father.
Yeah.
That's your father. And so these men today tell you to keep the second Passover, they're ignorant. Only one. If you're a wicked man, you better keep it. You're not even keeping it. That's right. You don't have to travel to YHWH.
Right.
And you wouldn't travel anyway. Can you imagine? That little sliver of land, when we keep the more dim in the land, there are going to be hundreds of millions of us. Billions. That land between the Euphrates and the great Nile River, that is the promise unto Abraham. That little sliver of land over there, now you do what you want to. That she extends all into the nation we call Africa. And all the way into the Caucasus and all of that. If you see food that comes from that part of the world, ain't nothing like it. I heard one testify one day. He said, I'm telling you, I've been in that part of the world. He said, these are not grapes, what you eat. He said, what you call prunes, those are not prunes. He said, you haven't seen a grape. They grow melons that the sweet, they have put no fertilizer. I've seen it. I was students. That's so sweet. People say, this is crazy. Cattle, everything. They just go out there, dig up some ground, and they put it there. And it grows. It grows. The best of beef and all the animals they raise, from chickens to cows. They don't grow hogs in that part because most of it is Islamic. Different. Everything we eat is so synthesized. I've been looking out, see, I know what we're going to do next year coming. We're going to raise our own Cornish like we used to, our own Cornish hens and all of that, the big rock Cornish. I said to my friend in the back, we're going to build us a big 16 by, maybe 16 by 8 cage that we're going to move those birds. We're going to put a machine on the hook and move them about every hour and let them scratch and just fertilize that soil and get the worms and all. We're going to raise our own birds. I already got a design. I already know how to build. And that's what we're going to do. I told this last story. I'll say it. For us to do the greenhouse the way that I want to do it, it would cost us we need 50 sheets for the side, 50 for the top. And that polyurethane, what is it? That thick plastic, what's the color? I bought one sheet, and that's the cheapest price I could find. It was there I picked it up by mistake because I saw the price 13. I said, we in the money now. I searched the internet, east and west, north and south. I couldn't find a sheet 2 foot by 8, less than about $60, $75 one sheet. And that's the thin stuff. I got it all measured out, everything. I've done that. I know what it's going to take. Just for the sides alone, it will cost us minimum to do that a small greenhouse. It will cost us about $7,000. And that's not the stove that I'm going to put in there that will be vented. It's going to be one stove to keep the house warm, to keep it warm. I'm not doing that to grow plants, food for us. I'll take this solar greenhouse and grow some tomatoes. We have plenty to eat in this garden up here. And I say, yeah, we just don't have the money. That's just that. He meets this man that does that. He has a job for us, a trailer he wants to cut up, and he got that stuff in there. So he brings a sheet home the other day. That sheet he brought home, that one piece. You can get that for under $80 to $100. It's twice as thick. That's this. Bring it all. I don't care if you have the glue pieces together. We'll make it work. I said, bye. He said, well, I started on the radar, and we're going to get it done. I say, son, get it done. When he gives you the check, you go to say, Mr. Johnson, I appreciate your kindness to us. And kindness must be reciprocated in the smallest of fashion all we can do. He knows how to talk. This check here, I appreciate it. And we need it. But we need that. And I'm going to tear it out. See, I'm not going to give you any way you wouldn't give it to you. That would be more advertisement than you can do for $1,000. Radio one. Because Mr. Johnson ain't going to forget it. I tell you what, Johnny, what you got? Hold on. Got these boys out here. Give them a call. Do you rock? Do you rock? They ain't gonna do you wrong, bottom. But I trust them around my children, said my wife. That little $1,000 is not gonna buy us enough of that. Bring it on here. I don't got one big side. When I went over the other day and put that thing, I said, oh yeah. Ouch. I was happy as a frog with a lily. I'm like, get me, daddy. I'm ready now. You know what I know? Get over there next week, we'll get them greenhouses right. I ain't gonna start working. We'll get them up. Ain't no doubt about that. Another big bed between that small and large bed. We're gonna make that out of the warm bed. We're gonna dress it up real pretty. Put those, what's it called on there? The T-posts on the side, and so it won't fall out. And dress it up with some of that nice boards I got it painted out. And we're gonna build us a walk where you walk up a step when you come out of the back of the greenhouse and walk over the aisle and walk right into the next greenhouse. We got it. For that price, you can barter that off for what he's giving us. I know I take prices on everything. I'm bartering with this woman now on eBay. She got 10 of those nice solar lights. Not solar, but LED lights. She wants $343 and some pennies for that. They don't go down on those lights on eBay. That stuff, they don't drop the prices. There's not one that I deal with that I don't get them to drop the price, but they don't drop the prices. So I offer her $330. She comes back $340. I'm going to bother me $340 if she doesn't drop down to the second counter offering. $3, that's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. She's not going to drop down. But I did that to prolong the time, because I did that on Friday. I'm not going to pay for it on the feast days of the week I have to. And I'll just accept that $340. You understand? Because I know what the lights cost. How do you know? Because I know. You're going to get that greenhouse right. This big greenhouse on Highway 9, when we go get plants down there, they grow 16,000 moms a year. I know what they sell them for. They grow 16,000. I'm there wrapping up next month, and he sells every last one of them. I talked to the lady who's been there with him this year. He will make $250,000. And he has no more than $20,000 in that 16,000. He will make that kind of money. I know what I'm saying. Mr. Johnson says to me, he said, preach, I tell you, well, if you'll grow roses, azaleas and stuff like that, he said you can make money. I showed you how to do it. Just cut them off, just reroot them, and start. And I'm going to grow them all. That's when we get that right. We can put minimum $5,000, $5,000 right there. And this time of year we have a tremendous offering. I'd rather have $3,000 or $4,000 in one time than to have $20 at the end of the month. I'm just using that. Don't play. Put a building beside that greenhouse. Your daughter's going to go there and work. I don't give a damn about this silly attitude. And everybody's going to share it, and then we can. If I got a nice piece of money, then we can do things to this place. I'm getting older. Whether you all realize it, that my days are not as long as they once were. No, I'm not going to live 60 years. I'm going to live now 20 years. So I'll live another 15 years. What is that? 80 years? Come on. What am I going to be able to do? So I want to be full of vitality, so I can help with everything, every place, or everything. And so it'll be left to you all. You all can. Mom and I, we just check out on that. She doesn't mind checking out with me. Yeah? I know I don't mind checking out with you. That's a fact. I don't mind dying with you if she dies. I mean, that's a fact. I don't want to live. Then you all stop that. I don't want to live. You always say what you want, so I'm just being honest. It would not bother me if we're holding hands and say, baby, I feel something. I'm just ready to go home. I am too. That'll be a blessing. You go together like that. That's the fact. You all can feel in the way you want to. That's the way I feel. You can live without. I can't live. I wouldn't want to. If she left today, I would not ever marry another woman. That's a fact. I go bird watching and argue with it. I just study and write stuff. That's what I would do. I don't want to marry a wife. I would never marry a wife. Never. I would never marry another woman. I could. She could marry another man. That's a fact. I would never marry another woman. Never. Yeah. And I'm strong and virile. I am. I'll never marry another woman. I Go down to the spot with her. We live long enough, we'll go together, all right? Let us stand up. Bless you all. Hallelujah. We're going to have some wonderful food. It's 2:30. Then we're going to meet at, I wonder about 7:30. We just sit in the fellowship. All right? Let us turn toward Jerusalem. In all things, our we do rock and your shoes and for your blessings. Told out for this day, for this gathering of your nation, your people scattered abroad throughout all the world. We told you for in Joshua's name, bless us all, keep us all. Bless YisraYah'ale scattered, according to your will and your purpose. Heal your people, we need your healing. In Yeshua's name, hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Yeah. YisraYah'ale. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's only one way, YisraYah'ale, to shalom, emunah, ahava. That's in Yeshua HaMashiach. So show us your way, Yahweh. Show us your way. Show us, Abba. Show us your way, Yahweh. We have to find you. Oh, lift up your voice. Oh, the cry of our land to Yada you know, to walk in the way of Torah, stronger each day. voice, YisraYah'ale.